We have the mandate from the appellate court issued on June 18th, so we can proceed. The appellate court remanded the case back to Your Honor for a hearing on the parenting issues because they were reserved in the judgment. So we have to set a hearing for that.
6, 2019.
Okay, all right. So he's had time to respond to it. If not, that was, okay. So that's up today for a hearing, right?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, so.
Your Honor, I make a motion to strike.
Okay, I got it. Let me swear her in first. You
Okay.
file a motion.
Well, I'd like the court to take judicial notice that I won the appeal.
Okay, all right. So we're proceeding on the motion. Go ahead.
Judge, after Your Honor entered the judgment for dissolution of marriage in February of 2019, Mr. Bush filed his notice of appeal, which we had to defend. Despite what Mr. Bush just stated, he did not win the appeal. The judgment was affirmed on appeal. The portion regarding the reservation of his parenting time was remanded to Your Honor for hearing. That remains pending and undetermined before Your Honor. However,
Wait a second. So I wasn't reversed?
Of course it was.
Okay, I think it said that they sent it back for me to, because there wasn't a finding of serious endangerment. Is that what that's what it said?
And it was a non-final judgment.
No,
I don't know about that, but.
Oh, it absolutely was.
Okay.
Your Honor, would you like time to review the document first so we can establish?
No, that's all right. I don't think, when I read it, I didn't see that it said reversed, okay?
It was vacated and remanded.
So it wasn't reversed. Okay, in any case, go ahead with your motion.
it was remanded for Your Honor to hold a hearing on the reservation of the parenting time. But
and I entered a judgment. I understand that. And it's been up to the appellate court. The appellate court has said it's a good judgment. Okay, so far so good.
They vacated the parenting time portion of the judgment.
Keep going. Keep going.
They reversed you.
They didn't reverse me. They sent it back for me to make a determination for me to enter
Have a hearing.
Okay, go.
Mr. Griffiths, before you do that, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
That may help frame this? Where does everything stand today in these matters by your understanding in the state courts?
By my understanding, in the state courts, the Illinois Appellate Court remanded for a final resolution of the parenting time issue, the custody issue, essentially. As it stands now, I believe that the ultimate conclusion as to parenting time is still awaiting a decision in the domestic relations court.
Yeah, there's not been a final adjudication, and Mr. Bush is awaiting further decision or final decision for that matter.
Yes, although I would note that because domestic relations proceedings are somewhat unique in that there's continual circuit court involvement with custody issues, the original February 2019 judgment here was considered final and appealable by the Illinois Appellate Court. So that was considered a final judgment. And then they said, well, it's a final judgment, but what the appellate court should have, basically, it just made a mistake, the appellate court, or excuse me, the circuit court, and it should have fully decided the issue of parenting time rather than entering essentially a conditional suspension of parenting time.
So when you say that he won the second appeal, that's not accurate.
well, I mean, I read the end of the order.
All they did is remand it for the serious endangerment.
No.
The rest of it all stood.
Okay.
And isn't it true that there, as you indicated, there was a remand back down for hearing on the serious endangerment issue?
Yes.
So what would be the basis for my client having to pay your client's fees?
Well, because the rest of the appeal did not, there were several issues that Mr. Bush took up on appeal. The only issue that was remanded was the issue of the serious endangerment, issue of that there was a purported bifurcation of a judgment for dissolution of marriage. All of
My client wants me to mention, just clarify that on the appeal, when it was remanded down, the endangerment issue wasn't the primary issue. It was a wrongful bifurcation issue. That they didn't even get to the serious endangerment. It was a remand.
Even though he's got a recusal motion. In fact, I don't think I have to, I can hear stuff until I decide to recuse myself. I'll deny the motion right now. Well, no, I won't. I got to read it first, I guess.
Yeah, you don't really read things, do
All right.
you?